The audience. This feels like a fucking suicide confessional right now.
God, what that was the greatest wrestling moment. So, probably follow that with suicide. I'm like, excuse me.
I can't believe you have to work bank holidays.
Huh?
You have to work bank holidays.
I don't.
Do you?
I was off yesterday.
Oh, you did like a personal event?
Yeah, it's my own. My own gig. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about wrestling.
Hooray! Who fucking Ray?
I feel like I'm done saying we're back. We've been doing this. For a while now.
I was thinking about this. I was thinking about sort of. We don't come in with a whole bunch of energy. We come in with a sort of sheepishness, like, it's us again.
What are we gonna do today?
Well, I think we're going to do what we were supposed to do last week before. Because last week was the smarkiest episode yet, in the sense that I don't think we touched on... The only thing we touched on that we were going to touch on was Just Bring It.
Yeah, that was about it. Yeah. I feel like we were overdue it. I feel like, after season 1, where we, again, had small amount of direction, but then it fell into millions of tangents. I feel like we were overdue just pure riffing. We need an episode of just pure riffing. Also, I haven't seen the footage back. We have handed it over to an editor.
Is Ish doing it?
Yeah. He's
Holy
on the
Christ.
case. He's on the case.
Hell yeah.
So I haven't watched anything back. So I have no memory of what the fuck we talked about, really. It's just 2 hours of just anything.
That does make me feel better because I was talking about this with Gary. I saw him during the week. He's absolutely terrified to come on the podcast now, by the way, because we've hyped him up so much.
Good.
It's going to be great.
Good. I still want him on.
Yeah, me too. We're going to get absolutely sloshed. But he was mentioning things during season 1 that I was like, yeah, that was good, wasn't it? I was like, I don't remember this.
We said that?
Oh, no. We are genuinely cancelable.
I didn't grab a tablet, but I know what the subject is.
Yeah.
I know what the subject is.
I mean...
I just want direction, because we're on the clock. Time is money.
Yeah, we don't have the same power anymore. I mean... There's two main topics I think we're going to talk about. One is the big topic at the moment. But before we jump into it, I did just want to mention I made a really, I'm not going to say bad, but an interesting impulse buy yesterday, and that's 2K24.
Oh God!
I tell you what, it's not bad. It's not.
It's funny because wrestling games are something that I've, got somewhat of a passion for, had, I've got a history of playing, but I haven't touched any since uni, and I'm not against it. Not like NBA games that I've sworn off like heroin. I'm not going back. I'm sort of. It's just the cost, really. I feel like I won't play it enough to warrant paying the cost of 2K,
which is very valid, because considering the amount of content there is a lot of content, like too much. I'm not going to touch half of it. It still feels like you're being shortchanged, but that's just the era we live in.
Yeah.
Where games are.
Because of DLC. And updates. They're like, we don't have to finish the game now. They'll still pay for it.
Listen, I bought Star Wars Battlefront Collection. You don't have to tell me. I'm still really upset about that. However,
2 was pain.
It feels weird because, in reality, this is the one where they've tried to make it a bit more arcadey. Which I always think that the games are the best when they're arcade because you can just jump in. It's why I loved when there was only one counter button. You just pressed RT and you were vibing.
Oh, man.
But in this one, there's like 6 counter buttons.
There's 6?
Yes.
He's being dramatic.
There's 4 counter buttons.
Oh, God. I'm not against it, but I feel like there should be like 2 modes, like easy and pro mode or some shit.
Yeah.
If you just wanna button bash counters and have an easy match, see who can land their finisher first, let's just have one of those matches.
Yes. The problem is now, whoever hits their finisher first, that's probably like the quarter away of the match.
True.
Piss easy. Now.
But you can abuse the game still. I've seen so much abuse. Getting easy count outs. Count outs was how I used to. I think when I started becoming a smarky gamer on I suppose what would have been the SmackDown versus Raw game still, is when I realised I can just blast my way through the career mode by just getting count outs. Just beat them up perfectly, run back in the ring at 9, win.
They wouldn't do a single thing about it as well. They'd just be fixated on smacking the shit out of you.
It was too easy. But
did you ever use the "Here Comes the Pain" cheese, where if you set up a table in the corner, they would always try and put you through it, and they'd get disqualified every single time?
no, I didn't know that one.
We're gonna have to do a career mode in "Here Comes the Pain" now.
I have downloaded a WWE game, and I've got an emulator on Steam. I just haven't taken the next step of actually like booting it up, but I've got it ready. You mentioned you have a capture card. It's coming. The Smarky gamers are coming.
I will have a capture card when the poor financial decisions end in a couple of months.
Also, I'm in it for the dialogue. Right? I mean, this was actually a note I had from last episode, but one of my favorite things from WWE games is the dialogue they gave to people that didn't really talk that much, or just they clearly they didn't even like. You could tell they didn't run it by the person. They're just in the game, and they probably found out afterwards. Like, oh, by the way, there's a whole like story segment where you've got this thing, and you say some weird shit to the main character.
Yeah,
and it's not your voice. It's not even close.
I mean, certain people you can get a good impersonate from, but other times you just ask yourself, what the fuck does Boogeyman sound like? And most of the time it's like that because he's missing those 2 teeth.
My favorite, I saw a clip of someone playing maybe Here Comes the Pain, or maybe even Shut Your Mouth. And there's just a cutscene where they're having a long conversation in the back with Kane. I'm like, Kane would not have this long conversation. Like, it's just so weird. He's getting kind of deep as well. And it's like, yeah, man, I really need you to help me out. And blah, 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 blah. I'm just like, this would never happen. No. Like, Kane wouldn't have this dialogue.
If someone offered to help Kane, he'd just kick the shit out of him, bro. Do you think those conversations are how we got into politics, though? Someone mentioned the thin blue line to him. He's like, yeah, that sounds pretty good. We need to fight back against terrorist President Biden. You got Chris Jericho back there talking about NDAs.
Fucking Christ. So, I think one of the best tangents we can go on from this would be how the relevance of a certain person, our subject matter, influenced I suppose like the initial wave and what I would call the turning point of wrestling games.
Yeah, just layeth the smackdown. The smacketh down, which is in the dictionary now somehow.
I didn't know that.
Smackdown is a term in the dictionary.
It's funny because I've used it in a rap and I haven't even checked that or known that. But yeah, Smackdown.
Linguistic genius. I like it.
Named after The Rock himself. I don't even know. Like, it's why it's such an interesting subject, because it's like, at this point, that was, I suppose, one of the peaks of his career.
Well, that late 90s.
Yeah.
Well, that would be... I think everyone has their own, like, favourite persona of The Rock, which we'll come on to later. But when you think about it, that's the one that was hardest for him, because if we're going to establish this as being sort of... when he takes over the nation, I would say that's real. Like, when you get corporate Rock, up until... I know there would have been a few face and heel turns and being about the people, being about the corporation. That run would have lasted until about 2002. Until he went off to shoot the Scorpion King. Lost everyone's care.
Yeah, wow. For a small amount of time.
Yes. Yeah.
Phase. This is what I suppose we could try and get to on this. Like, could we try and define the chapters of The Rock's career?
Oh, absolutely. So you got the Die Rocky Die era.
Whoa. You're jumping in way too early. What, Flex?
Christ. That doesn't count.
Flex. The early days.
I suppose it does count because it's WWE canon now.
Yeah.
He's actually brought it up. Which is... It was really weird, that segment. It really was. Because
him actually mentioning being Flex Kavana.
Yes.
Starting his... I suppose it's... they've all got this thing where they just try and work crowds based on random tidbits. Like, yeah, I performed here and I won a championship here. And it's like, yeah, but none of these people were probably there. Like, in fact, this is so irrelevant to them. They're just cheering because you said the name of their town.
Yeah, they might have heard that once he trained here, he got his start there. It's like, the fuck is a flex? What the fuck is this guy talking about?
It's like, you were Flex Kavana? What? Who?
That's a terrible name. I hate you now. Which is probably the only thing he could do to get people to hate him right now, because this run is fucking great.
I think I'll get into my opinion on this one later.
All right.
I think there's too much about it. There's too much about it.
There
but
is.
It is good. It is very good.
There is. And funnily enough, there's too much about it, but there's very little about it about Roman Reigns. To the point where people are worried about his health again. No, genuinely. People online are coming up with conspiracy theories because he's fucking never there. In the road to WrestleMania, The Rock is showing up more than the champion. That's ridiculous.
Because we're going to sell tickets. And we're getting our money's worth from The Rock.
Yes. Oh, Christ.
But anyway, going back like 30 years.
Yeah, 30 years. God.
Well, maybe not full 30, but nearly 30 years. So, I actually want to ask you a question. What was your first impression of The Rock?
Well, I knew about The Rock before I was like a big wrestling fan, or when watching whenever I got the chance to. But the weird friend of my dad's, he the correct reaction.
The guy that we sort of hinted at might have been shady, but I don't know if that's really true. This man is just a shadowy figure in my mind.
he just elongates and changes and shape shifts.
He just has a trench coat full of shady recordings on VHS.
John Rebellion 2002. Hey, sit on my lap. Come on. I didn't, I swear. But he gave me Vengeance 2002. That was one of the big ones he gave me. That's a good show. That's a really good show. I really want to watch that now. In fact, it's not the best show ever, but you know when you have that one show in mind which kind of like, that's the foundation of your wrestling. That is it for me.
Mine's that Armageddon.
2002?
Yeah? The year's a bit murky in my
What,
mind.
what happened in it?
The Hell in a Cell.
Oh, that's 2000.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the 2000 Armageddon. Yeah, that's my sort of foundation for wrestling, really.
Yours is so much cooler. But I always remembered him because he would always spoil me by including the Raw after and a little bit of the SmackDown as well. And I always remember because on that Vengeance, The Rock wins the title, and it's peak like receding hairline Rock. Like when it's just like his head wasn't that big before. How is it like this now? And they had the triple threat match, and it was a great match. And I really liked The Rock. But all I remember is him coming out and doing what he did so frequently, and that's be extremely racist towards Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah, this was the early 2000s where you could poke at someone's race and maybe even disabilities and throw the R word around and
yeah,
it was a different time.
If you were Jerry Lawler, you could even throw in some homophobic slurs when you talk about your goat, Gold Dust.
Yeah, there was a lot. There was a lot of that.
Why?
Because PC culture didn't exist.
Yeah, I suppose.
We were still dealing with racism. We're still dealing with racism.
Yeah. We were far enough in that racism could be tackled by an edgy stable, but not by giving a black man the title.
Like, the racism was more institutionalized racism and then poking fun at Mexicans, which,
that's fine.
Americans have done for centuries.
Yeah, for centuries. And then because of the modern world as it was at the time, he even had Japanese come over, and he could take the piss out of them as well.
Yeah. And it was funny because, you know what? Back then, I didn't bat an eyelid to the racism. I just thought it was edgy comedy.
Yeah.
And The Rock was one of the best.
He was.
And he still is. He still fucking is.
He's so good at that racism. Oh, I'm so proud. But I always remember that because he had so much charisma. And it takes a really impressive person to, even when you're 6, as I was at the time, to watch that and go, he shouldn't say that, but I like him.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I would. When I was introduced to and that's actually what I was going to answer because I can't really recall if I knew about The Rock before I knew about wrestling or like I'm getting old and
Yeah,
it's murky. I feel like honestly I didn't really have any like preconceived ideas of wrestlers outside of, and you're going to be shocked by this, outside of actually Hulk Hogan. And do you know why? Because for some reason I'd seen some movies that he'd been in
Oh no.
as a child.
We are not touching on any of those movies. I'm not looking at Mr. Nanny.
I'm a 90s child, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I can't really recall my introduction to The Rock. He just is and always was.
Can you remember the persona it was that you saw first?
So I probably was introduced to Rock during like sort of peak People's Champion Rock Austin era. Because actually, I'll tell you what. When I do recall this, I basically missed DX. Like I never really I knew about DX through the games and sort of through pop culture, but I never actually witnessed DX as a child. I think when I first started watching wrestling was when Triple H was out, because I remember when he came back and I was like, I didn't really give a shit.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really know who he was. Which was weird. And then obviously because of the DX stuff, I was like, oh, it's the guy from Degeneration X. But in my mind, he wasn't the main guy.
No, it was of course it was X-Pac. Everyone loves X-Pac.
Because I loved X-Pac.
Yeah.
And he was still good. And I kept seeing the New Age Outlaws and obviously Billy Gunn. So I was like, to me, he was the background one that was like being overpushed in my mind. And obviously the Stephanie McMahon. But anyway.
Many people would still agree with that.
For me.
The Fed.
Going back now, obviously I'm watching a lot of like Attitude Era and obviously realizing, that transition, especially like post Brett and everything, it was like there was like a big 3 or 4, and it was sort of this rotation between the 4 big Eternals of it now. I'd say Rock, Austin, Triple H, and Undertaker.
Yeah.
They were sort of like the big names, sort of like in contention for the title, sort of chopping and changing who was feuding with who. So, yeah, my point being, my introduction was definitely Rock, Austin, because like Triple H was out and Taker was out.
Taker was getting divorced.
So yeah, and it was weird now realizing like the circumstances that actually led to probably like they were getting pushed anyway. Those two were the best trash talkers and like actually the most popular names. Like if anything, like all of them were sort of company men, but Triple H and Taker were like the company men that were.
Yeah, you could never see them switching sides.
Whereas like Rock and Austin were the most popular like superstars.
Yeah, Austin. Lightning in a bottle. I know you can always do the whole rising against authority, but he was just the right guy in the right place because he'd had so much shit thrown at him, like getting fired by WCW, the little run he did in ECW, and then coming in as ringmaster. You can look at Daniel Bryan and compare those two storylines, even to an extent Cody this year, and you can look at sort of how they got there, and there are similarities. But at the end of the day, Stone Cold was a bald man with no respect and who had a redneck accent. You can't replicate that.
No.
You can be as bleach blonde as you want. You can have a lovely beard. It's not the same as being a skinhead who comes from a trailer.
And just represented just pure chaos. And that was the best thing about Austin. Like, going back to actually something, your hot take from season 1 about how Attitude Era episodes were bad wrestling shows. I get it. I 100% get it now. So I've been going back and watching random shit, especially for homework for this. And every now and I get bored, and I like to show Olivia like the contrast as well. And even she's like, "This is funny, but it's kind of weird." I'm like, "Oh yeah." Like I watched an episode of Raw where there wasn't a match. So it was like 97. There wasn't a match for the first half an hour. It was just jumping between someone coming out chatting shit, backstage shenanigans, someone chatting shit. There was an attack, but there wasn't a match. Then more backstage shenanigans. Stone Cold is here. And then the first match of the night. And I actually was like, I noticed it and I stopped and paused. And I was like, wait, just double checked. I hadn't missed anything. I was like, we are 35 minutes into Raw and there hasn't been a match.
Yeah, so a third of the way through. And I bet that match lasted 2 minutes.
It was about 7 minutes.
What?
That's still not long. For the first match of the night
For
at a
97.
wrestling show, bearing in mind by the time that's finished, you're nearly an hour into the show. Like, that's pretty bad. my point being, I see where you're coming from. There was a bad wrestling
Yeah.
show. Like, you come here to watch wrestling and you're watching wrestling drama, which is fun.
It was great.
It was fun, but it was like that's the lengths they had gone to for the ratings.
Yes, they stuffed. It
became a TV show.
They stuffed so much shit in there.
They need to like, because look at it. If you look at like the landscape of like TV in the 90s and like, you know, especially at the peak of the 90s where there was like a million channels, look at like Sky and all that shit, competing broadcasts, like they like the Monday Night Wars and, you know, the ratings battle between it was just as much about competing as a TV show as it was actually trying to win as a wrestling show. And like I think that's where your point comes in. Like, it's almost like to beat WCW, who had already lost their way, they did lose their way a little bit as well.
No,
Vince
fairness,
lost his
97,
way.
they were still on top big time in 97.
No, but as in like ratings, but as in like what they had to do to get those ratings. As a wrestling show, the wrestling actually was lacking in presence, only in presence. Like, not the wrestling was bad, it's just it was there was less matches, the matches were short, there was more drama, more segments, more promo cutting, and just more theatrics. Which
is the stuff everyone remembers. Like, if you look at a match on Raw, no one's going to tell you a single match that happened on Raw, maybe other than Foley winning the belt. But then after that, what do you have? You go forward to like 2001 for people to start remembering the matches, because there was the actual transition to people actually being like, kind of like the athleticism. And I'll be fair to the Attitude Era here and say, you still get that now. Like, it's a whole meme about sort of 2015. Every Raw would start with a half-hour promo by the Authority. But the difference is, they would focus on one segment, and it'd be this one thing that kind of takes the story of the show. Whereas in the Attitude Era, in that time, you would have had someone gets run over, someone has an affair, China gets called a man, and someone's racist.
And half the matches ended in DQ.
Yes. Or a count out of some sort.
That was the same show, actually. It was the same show. Half the matches ended in DQ. So we didn't get a match for 35 minutes. It ended in DQ. The next match ended in a DQ. The last match of the night ended with Stone Cold coming in and stunnering someone and ended in a DQ. I'm like, this is not a wrestling show. Like, this is just shenanigans on shenanigans on shenanigans.
It's a show about wrestlers.
It's a show about wrestling.
They don't do much wrestling.
But I think that's why I think they needed to like almost let that happen to let things like Rock and Austin, because like they became standouts because they could do both very well. Yeah. I think it was almost like a testament to why they won out over WCW, because WCW was doing mad shenanigans, but they were letting all these old timers who pretty much were using this as an excuse to not wrestle and also gatekeep the main event. Whereas like with Austin and the shenanigans, at least like there was that period when he was really mad and was just trying to ruin Raw, so he was just coming out and just stunning everybody. But what that actually meant was like matches you wouldn't have normally cared about became interesting because Stone Cold just came out at the end and just stunned these two random jobbers.
What's better? You have a main event scene where it's two guys forever, or you have one where it's one guy forever, but he's just picking out random people and having moments with them. He's doing the Jeff Jarrett strut for some reason. Like, it's why I think that kind of, what you mentioned, like that little square of like bouncing between different people, it worked so well because everyone got a chance to be highlighted, but also the actual, you kind of had a main character. Like these days, like, sure, Cody's the main character right now. Or is it Roman Reigns?
No, it's Dominic Mysterio. And I've got evidence. But we'll get into that on another episode.
Looking forward to that. Just a quick congratulations on your marriage, Dominic Mysterio. Very proud of you. It's really weird seeing someone as an 8-year-old on TV in a custody match and then finding out he got booed at his wedding. I'm very proud of him.
He's doing great. I love him.
He is. He's probably getting more booze than The Rock ever got. It's very different.
And he doesn't have to say anything. Yeah. Imagine, like, sorry, small tangent, but it's what I find funny about the comparison of like heat. And my comparison here is like, I was going to get into this later, but I'm going to just say it now. Why are we loving The Rock, even though everyone was like insanely angry at him, like, 4 weeks ago? we were angry not because he'd come back, because we thought that he was abusing power and ruining WrestleMania. But as soon as we let them cook, yes, I said it. As soon as we let them cook, we're having a great time. And now everyone's happy. We don't give a shit The Rock's here. Honestly, it wouldn't have actually mattered what angle. As long as the angle worked, the booing stopped. And that's where we're at now. Like, yeah, he comes out at first and is rude to everyone in the first week, post the whole, I suppose, weird sort of screw job attempt that led to Cody now deciding to face Roman.
Yeah.
And everyone was booing The Rock for the next 2 weeks. And then, what? Everyone's talking about the Phoenix stuff, where he called everyone crackhead, talking about the crackhead stats and all this stuff.
Yeah. He called pieces of shit on
barely any boos. People were laughing and cheering, and they're cheering every time his music comes on now. It's over. The heel turn has worked, but only worked to make everyone love him again.
Yes. But that's why he's so good. He's such a trash. This has been the story of his career, though. Die, Rocky, die. He turns heel. Everyone realizes this is a charismatic man. He is so good at this. But then you go forward, 4 years? Comes back in 2003. Towards the end of his run, he's a face. He's going to go do the Scorpion King. Everyone's just like, just let Brock smash him. He comes back. He literally asks people, do you want to boo me? And they're like, we fucking hate you. You sold us out. 2 weeks later, everyone loves him. They love him again. That's Hollywood Rock.
He's coming out with the guitar and chatting shit.
Yeah. Yes! Hate me! I'm scum! He's done it again. He made Black Adam. Black Adam is the best thing to happen to the wrestling industry in a long time.
Don't make that link. That's not what happened.
It is!
It's not what happened.
The power went to his head. He tried to ruin it for everyone.
Listen, I'm not having this. I'll go full Rock mark on you in a minute.
Do it. I fucking dare you.
Not even Rock. I'll go Dwayne mark on you.
Dwayne mark. He's a good man!
First of all, Warner Brothers screwed him. They fucking screwed him. It's similar to, I don't know, I can't think of it right now, but there's a good comparison, but he got screwed. He got left holding the bag, and it was all, and they set him up. He set himself up to be set up by them by demanding the movie that everyone, by the way, he was fan casting him for.
Yeah, sure.
And he was like, let's get this movie done. Let's fucking do it. Let's do this for the fans. And Warner was like, yeah, sure. Here you go, Dwayne. We'll let you produce. What happened? It turned into a piece of shit because Warner Bros. Don't know how to make any DC movies. They don't know how to make. They've been doing a terrible job. And then when the movie bombs, everyone's like, Dwayne wanted this. This is Dwayne's fault. This is all Dwayne's fault. Dwayne's like, you set me up. You set me up. And then there was the screenwriters strike. So also, are we forgetting that everyone's been like, what? I can't think of it. I can't think of the word.
Give me a tone. Give me a vibe.
Trying to get Roman and him together for a match.
Yeah, everyone's been like fan predicting, or everyone's been fantasy booking.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Fantasy booking him and Roman for about 2 years.
Mark, there you go.
Like, so this was inevitable, and that's what I thought was funny about this angle. Like, if it was a pivot or not, he literally came back and like during the booze was like, "Is this not what you lot have been asking for like years? I'm here to face Roman. Like, this is the match." But he played it at an angle where it was like, "I deserve this. I'm the best. I'm the biggest. We'll give you the biggest WrestleMania ever." But actually, literally a year ago, that's the WrestleMania everyone was asking for, and it's so funny that they managed to like work it.
You are spot on, and I still would want to see that match, preferably in Saudi Arabia, which is what we're probably going to get. But it's all about the timing. No one wanted it when we got it, because by that point, 2 days, 1 day earlier, they already had Cody literally pointing at him, screaming at him in the ring, saying, "I want you, Roman. I want you." The next day, he's like, "The boss has told me I'm going to face Seth Rollins." So it's kind of like if, let's say, I'm about to go down the darkest analogy, and I don't know if I should even by the show standards.
I'm scared.
Let's say you had a terminal illness, right? And you were craving euthanasia. and all of a sudden you're cured miraculously, and then they grant you euthanasia. It's not the right time. You missed the mark.
Jesus Christ. Oh, have fun with that one, Ishan.
I'll let you decide whether we keep that in or not, but...
But no. Honestly, let's wind back, because I didn't want to get into present day, because there's so much to go over before present day.
There is.
So, I don't know why. What did I have? Sorry, I'm looking at the notes, and I was like, I clearly was in a certain mood when I was not a bad mood, but I was in a certain mood when I was writing this, because did you write the Return of the Rock, and then I wrote in brackets afterwards again, and then in double brackets again with a question mark, and then in triple bracket, don't forget that time with Mick Foley.
I try my best to forget that time with Mick Foley,
because that's a fun angle to go. How many times has this man returned to wrestling? Because he's up there, like, I think no one's ever covered this. Who's got the most returns? Because The Rock's had like 3 in the last year, for the record. He's had 3 returns in the last 12 months.
I mean, you go back even further. You go back, so what was it? It's 13 years since WrestleMania 27 now, which is unbelievable. But in that time, because he'd been away from wrestling for 7 years, he came back for that. He was back for 28, back for 29, he was back for 30, 31, 32. That's like a 6-year run.
So he averages like a return a year.
Yes.
Rate. And he's been in wrestling for how long? Like, what, 27 years?
Yeah, I mean, he debuted in...
Or WWEF.
Yeah, he debuted for the Fed, which I love calling it now, in 95, I believe. This was before everyone hated his guts.
Yeah, obviously.
And that run, so 95 up to 2002, that's a 7-year run. That's an incredibly short run in the grand scheme of things. Also, Stone Cold was shorter as well. But he's averaged more returns, or as many years of returns, as he actually had in his original run.
Yeah.
So surely that's got to count for something as well.
Yeah, he might. Yeah, he's got a jarring career. Up there with Stone Cold, but I think it's worse. It's actually worse, because, yeah, like, for someone who's goated, his full-time run is actually very short. But, which, again, is a testament to why he's maybe some people's goats, one of my goats. I'm not going to pretend I don't think The Rock is one of my favourites.
Yeah.
And I think it's that. It's like, especially in recent sort of, not retrospects, but sort of just like deep diving into wrestling. And it's actually, I'll take this from John Cena, which is about talking about like giving back. And he has a very like strong sort of like, I suppose he feels like he has a strong responsibility for giving back for what he's earned and where he's at now.
Yeah.
I think The Rock is exactly the same. He doesn't really say it quite openly, but I feel like he does exactly that. I say like it's almost like a work, like during the writer's strike last year when him and Cena came back, it was like, you know, we can't give to Hollywood, we can't give to like our Hollywood fans, so what can we do? Go back to wrestling and give back to WWE in the best way possible by having random returns and like just showing our face, knowing full well it's gonna get hits on YouTube, it's gonna make people look at the product, and that's their way of just giving back. Because like all they need to do is get a plane, walk down that Titantron once, you know,
And
go down the
make
ramp,
people's year.
and yeah, people will fucking go nuts.
He returned to a house show like 5 years ago, just randomly, and he live streamed it. And I was like, he had no reason to do that. He's not going to get any clout or fame from it. It's just one of those where you just make someone's day, or you make their year. When we go to this show on the 19th,
We have no idea who's gonna be there.
it's a house show as well, so it's going to be chaos.
Oh man, I literally keep saying to Olivia, I was like, I don't want to like make you jealous, but I'm like, I have to vocalize that I'm ready to be surprised on so many fucking levels because we have no idea. Because I think I'm just fantasy booking, but I feel like post Money in the Bank, there's sort of a pull, because I feel like with house shows there's a bit of like openness. It's like who's willing to go to house show. I'm sure some people get told you're going to the UK for this house show, but some other people it's like, do you want to go to UK? And I feel like some of the bigger names they could easily just opt out, but some of them are like, well, Cena just showed up to Money in the Bank. just for the sake of it.
Yeah. I still
Rock
live in
keeps just
pain.
randomly coming back.
Yeah, no one expected him to be on Raw.
So someone could just make an appearance. I've got theories. There's people I want to see that aren't even big names, like
D.H. Smith.
I want to see. I really hope Dom Mysterio is there. I pray to God Dom Mysterio is there.
Oh, he will be. He will be there. It's a Raw show, so we're not gonna get Cody.
Nah, I doubt we'll get. But well, it depends what happens at WrestleMania because it's like. But I doubt it. I doubt it. We're not getting. I doubt. I've already said. Without we'd get Rock, Cody, or Seth.
We won't get
Roman. Roman doesn't even show up to fucking main shows. That's not.
He's hibernating, mate. He's not going to be there for ages.
Man misses half the PLEs for fuck's sake. Like, he's got the main belt.
They turned it into a storyline. He just won't show up. It's like WCW in the 90s when like Goldberg's going off the script. Our main champion's no-showing every week.
But no, seriously. Yeah, obviously I don't want to get too much into the show we're going to. Yeah. We'll talk. It's weird because we'll talk about it on this podcast and it will be so weird because it's non-canon.
Yeah.
But it'll be fun.
You say that though. Like, they're all canon. Like, they're just weird ones. Because, like, Samoa Joe beat Finn Balor for the NXT title on a house show.
But that's controversial. That's literally one of the most interesting and most controversial things that had happened. But
it's canon. It happened on a house show and it's canon. It's just the way it works. And it's fucking great. Maybe we'll see Drew McIntyre drop the World Heavyweight title. There'd be a riot.
There'd be a fucking riot. I think he would be leading the riot.
And then Tyson Fury comes out and sings Sweet Caroline with him.
If The Rock came out, I maybe weep a little bit. I'd be like...
I know. We do need to get some videos for the customary after show.
We'll get
podcast.
a funny picture of us like marking out in the crowd. Like,
it's Dom!
if Dom comes out, get your camera out because I'll be the only person cheering. I'll join in the booth at some point, but I want a video of me being there like, I love you, Dom! Yay! Whilst I'm getting drowned out by all the boos.
There's one high-pitched squeal going on. I love you. But that we got time for that. That'll come soon. If I could just sort of... What's your favourite Rock persona?
That's so tough. That's who's my favourite wrestler? It's so difficult because I think...
It's Dom, obviously.
It's evolved. I think as a kid, I just loved eyebrow-raising, trash-talking Rock. You know, it doesn't matter, Rock. Like, peak, it doesn't... As in, when he was doing that
Vanilla
every
Rock.
week, you know, like... I think now, I think having tried to watch more, I haven't, like, actively gone back and watched The Rock a lot. I have, obviously, the last couple months, but, I think, personally, it's just, like, take over, you know, usurping Farouk Rock. I think...
Oh, yeah.
Because I think it wasn't just, like, you know, bless poor Farouk, poor Ron.
People who listen to this podcast know we love Farouk.
And if anything, you know, look at the characterization. If anything, he was actually putting The Rock over.
Yeah, of course.
Without having to wrestle, which is quite fun.
I mean, the Nation were over, like, and
Farouk
was the heart of that. But then you had this up and coming guy who everyone hated, and then all of a sudden, like, Farouk's just kind of like the launch pad for him, and it works. It does work. But in that role, like, this might be why you like him, but it feels so raw. It feels like the untouched diamond.
Yeah.
Like, Vince is back there. He's just, this is such good shit. This is the one. And I vibe with that. I really get that.
He was just funny. Like, and it's not just that one-off, you know, that famous interview that everyone loves of Farouk talking. There's like a little, they're being interviewed and like Farouk's trying to lead and The Rock keeps cutting in and talking. And he's like, hey, I'm the leader. And The Rock's just like doing a thing. Hilarious bit. But actually, it's when he's Intercontinental Champion and it's like during that run that he's like fully like low key just taking over, and Farouk's just looking more and more like powerless. And you got like D'Lo winning things as well. Like what he was like European champion, and like also I one of my favorites actually. I've been making GOAT lists, Rushmore lists. Yeah, I've got this time, and this is a future episode. But it's a little spoiler. D'Lo made. I didn't realize it, but yeah, D'Lo's made one of my lists. I fucking love D'Lo Brown. Like
D'Lo was great. It was unfortunate that the other night I was watching an episode of Raw from 2002 or 3.
As soon as you say 2000, and I'm like, oh no, 2000 D'Lo. Like I'm only talking about 97 to 99 D'Lo. It's my favorite D'Lo.
As soon as the new millennium came, D'Lo was past his prime.
Yeah, people like D'Lo, Val Venus. Like when you hear about 2000s versions, you're like, oh no, that can't be good. Oh no, that can't be good.
Oh yeah, I love the British Bulldog. Yeah, when he wore those jeans. Oh,
that Bulldog, the one that was just permanently sweating.
Yeah, in the dog poop.
But yeah, no, like I said, so that going back to rock is like, yeah, my peak rock. I think personally,
I really do get that though, because if we were watching that at the time. I think if you were a fan of that rock, you were the cool guy. You were the one who tapped into greatness. And it did kind of feel like it was real when he was like that.
Yeah.
Because it was a response to the feedback he'd been given by the fans, which was die. How do you bounce back from that other than dying?
Other than dying, you just become an absolute prick. Also, on that note, one of my favourite rock matches is probably from that era as well, which is him versus Triple H.
The ladder match.
The ladder match for the Intercontinental title.
That is a great match. Really great.
My favourite Triple H match, but both of them.
Was that Mania 13?
No, I think it's SummerSlam.
SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think it's SummerSlam 97 or 8.
Because Triple H is wearing the purple ties.
Yes.
And I'm trying to think of the timeline of this rock. He takes over the nation the night after Mania 13?
Yeah, so this point he has taken over the nation, yeah. And this is when D'Lo was still European Championship and was wearing that weird, like, blackish armor thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Triple H was still, with China all the time. But yeah, this was a sort of that weird phase of DX. It was like they were DX, but like it was almost like they didn't want to disband DX, but they didn't want to keep pushing DX because it was sort of getting old.
Yeah. It got old very quickly, and nostalgia is a wonderful thing.
I think it was what they wanted to do is they were trying to still find a way to like incorporate China, and the only thing was to keep DX alive, to keep so she had to be part of a stable, otherwise because they couldn't keep her solo, and her and Triple H being a thing was a bit too on the nose because
Which is so daft because fucking look at what she did in the women's division where she just battered everyone. It was great. But who knew that not being a cunt about a woman for looking a little bit mannish could work?
But anyway,
back to
so what
the
about
rock.
yours? What's your favourite rock match and era?
I will always have to acknowledge the fact that bulk run from, let's say, 98 to 2001, you have to admire that. Because to do that so consistently, and I don't think he was injured for any real period there, to be able to do what...
Was there that period where he was wearing a t-shirt?
There was that period, yeah. Because that went into like WrestleMania 15, didn't it? It's fine. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. Tab man boobs.
Yeah. He had big man boobs for a while. He worked them though. You got to be cool to wear the man boobs well. But I think to be able to get people on your side when you're doing this shtick, which hasn't worked in a very long time, just because you are so good on the mic, it demands respect. But my favourite will always be 2003 Hollywood Rock. I just think it's why I really like this run. Because while, yes, this is it's an amalgamation of all his heel runs in the past. He's wearing the really expensive shirts, all that stuff. But when he did that, it felt like something fresh. But at the same time, it was a literal response to what people wanted. Like, he comes in, he asks people, do you want to cheer me or boo me? And they're like, oh, you do want to boo The Rock? I'm gonna have fun with this. And then everything he did, just like the appearing via satellite, the impersonating Hogan, just being a really sleazy, shitty heel, the first rock concert. It felt like so many iconic moments of his entire career came in that 2 month span. 2 months, that's all it was. And yet everyone remembers it so much that he's coming out to that music again.
The only problem is, I could just never forgive that era because I don't know why. It obviously made sense, but I just could never forgive him getting absolutely smashed by Goldberg.
Oh.
I think, being a big rock fan, a little bit of a rock mark at the time, it just really bothered me. It just bothered me.
It was him doing what was right for the next year of the company.
I know, but why does Triple H get to squash Goldberg and The Rock just got smashed? Like he didn't get squashed, but he got fucked up. And it was the post match where he was just like,
yeah,
he's a tough son of a bitch.
Yeah, he does that big promo when the cameras go off, and everyone's like, "I love you, Rock."
Just like cool, but then did he even have any other big matches after that?
No, he went after that.
Yeah,
that's why he had to put him over because Goldberg was going to be there. He wasn't. Simple as. It's unfortunate.
It's like, but he already did that for Brock. And that's what I thought. There was, for me, I got annoyed. I think it was that, Hollywood Rock was already his first big return as post peak Rock, coming back for the first time after being away. And obviously, I was super excited. I remember, I would have been about 11, and I was like, yeah, The Rock's back. Fuck. Yes, The Rock is back. Finally, I don't have to keep watching fucking Triple H, and Shawn Michaels already disappointed me with his fucking comeback. Because I loved Shawn Michaels, but I felt like...
He's a Christian now.
I felt like Shawn Michaels' comeback was so underwhelming, and then so was The Rock's. And I was like, I think, honestly, this is what started pushing me away. All my favourites came back in ways that just did not deliver for me. And I was just like, what's going on?
Yeah. It does feel weird going back to that. My favourite Mania of all time, by the way, 19. I have such a soft spot for it.
I don't like 19.
You don't like 19?
I don't like 19.
How do you not like 19? How?
Because I liked 18 too much.
18 was shite.
It is shite, but it was so iconic. I know, it's crazy.
Of course it's iconic. It's icon versus icon, but still, it was a shit Mania with a shit stage.
I can't hate on 18 because I remember being so fucking excited as a kid. As 18 was happening, and I had a game for 18. I've got
oh, you had a GameCube.
Yeah, I had such fond memories of that era. Looking back at it, we talked about this, Alliance shit, the NWO angles, all of it was so badly handled. But as I said during my hot take, when I was growing up, as a kid watching that, especially that 18, the build up to 18 was fucking epic. It seemed, and the Rock and Hogan match still delivered.
That's still a classic.
And it was just too epic. That match was so fucking epic, and the whole lead up. Even though the match was shit, I was appreciating the whole divisions of each member of the NWO taking on another the big name stars, and it was so cool. So yes, 19 was technically the better WrestleMania, but 18 was just so dope for me.
I admire that you admit your bias.
At the time. Retrospectively, of course.
Of course.
And I think that's sort of some of the differences we have. I think I sometimes refer to things that my memory of it. Obviously now as a smarkier individual looking back, I know where it was bad, really.
Oh, just wait till we get onto mine. It's okay. We will come back to that. Plus, 19 has the Miller Lite catfight. 5-star classic.
A 5-star classic.
Was it the Coachman who has the girls roll over him? It's when does he get to do that? He's shit. He came back in 2018. He was the worst part of the show.
What? Poor Jonathan.
I'm sure he was really good on ESPN, but that's what he's talking about, an actual sport.
Have you seen his interview with Chris Van Vliet?
No.
Oh man, he dishes some shit. He really dishes some shit.
Well, he's ballsy. I like that.
Yeah, no, actually, I think I got a bit of newfound respect for him from that interview because I was like, okay, fair. Like, he's really just like, it's almost like similar to the Teddy Long shit that's coming out at the moment of him.
My
outing-
beloved. I love you, Theodore.
Yeah.
Back to The Rock.
Back to
I will
Rock.
say for that 19 match, it's kind of weird to me seeing that, not in the middle of the show, but like the 2/3 mark. The Rock versus Austin should always main event. And as good as that Kurt versus Brock match was, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right that goes on last.
Yeah, yeah, it's a weird one. It is a weird one because I almost want to say it does make sense.
It does make full sense. It's the main title. It should go on. Although I would have said if Booker T had won, as he should have, that should have gone on last. But I can do
that one.
We're going to have to at some point.
I think we have. I think we sort of have.
But it's one of those you have to keep reapproaching because it's so fucking ridiculous. Booker's one of those people who I wasn't the biggest fan of growing up, but only as I've gotten older I've realized this guy was the man.
I think we talked about this. I said this. I was like, even though I was people who say I used to look like him, I didn't actually like Booker T. And I think it's because he first feuded with The Rock. So like I immediately felt like, this is the guy from the other side coming in, starting on The Rock, my guy. Fuck him. But actually, yeah, he was the better wrestler. He was a better wrestler than The Rock, which is crazy. Crazy to say. Because not crazy to say.
Zach.
Because honestly, if I was going to make a list of like my favorite wrestlers versus my favorite wrestlers for their ability,
superstars versus wrestlers.
Yeah, The Rock's at their top 10 superstars, but he's not top 10 wrestlers.
No, probably not. He's had more 5-star matches. He's had at least 2 5-star matches.
He's had at least 2.
But I can't think of a Booker T match that's 5 stars.
Yeah, no, you just like watching him. That's the thing. Yeah. Booker T was just good. His athleticism was there. That scissor kick is dope.
It is.
It's not just the spinneroonies. His leg
work
was great.
Was the cherry on the top. Scissor kick. Oh. One of those moves that you don't appreciate until you understand how wrestling works.
Also how light on his feet he was.
Yeah. He's a big guy as well. 6'2", 6'3".
Yeah.
Something like that. You'd never believe that. You would have thought he was the smaller guys until you see him face to face with a big guy. Like his matches against Big Show. Like, I know we love to... He's kind of turned into the fan favourite in a weird way, Big Show.
Paul White, our beloved. If anything, if this podcast never does anything for me, it's made me understand the Big Show. And I'll always be appreciative of that. I've swayed you on the Big Show.
Yeah, you have. You really have. I'm not at the point where I'm going to watch the Big Show or Knucklehead.
Oh God, no! I actually forgot about the Big Show, fucking family drama show. Like, what the fuck? How did he get that? Who pitched that?
I don't know, but like, isn't it weird that like they did their John Cena movies, they did their Stone Cold, the Rock whatever did here. It's like, what else we got? Paul. We'll get Paul to do it. He's big, he's fat, and he's bald. But actually, I actually think he's one of the better wrestling actors. He can cry on demand, as he did for most of his career. He could wrestle while smoking a cigarette.
I think it's because he's so big. You forget he pretty much not grew up, but he did grow up in wrestling.
Yeah.
Man was brought in he was in WWE at 18?
18 or something like that.
He's up there with Rey Mysterio. He's basically been wrestling since he was a teenager and has been in the business and hasn't left the business. He's still in the fucking business.
He is. And I hope he never leaves.
Man's so my point being you'd think, yeah, he probably is. He's a very talented. He should be a very talented man, even with not. He admits he was green as fuck for many years because of how young and the way in which he was brought in, sort of being swept up in the toxic nature of the NWO, I suppose.
The NWO. I saw a great clip of him the other day, which was the guys from the NWO all out on the street. They're all like doing the too sweet and stuff like that. He's like, NWO baby.
Leave him alone.
But then the rest of them all start looking at each other like, who's this guy? And then they'll start just shaking hands. And the caption was, that one friend in the friend group who kills every conversation. Like, leave him alone! He's so good.
He's a giant. He's a baby.
I'm just a big... Oh no, that's Vader. I'm just a big fat bastard.
Poor Vader. He's an interesting case.
Probably the greatest big man of all time.
Up there, yeah, for real.
It's really got to you, hasn't it? The emotional
damage. God.
What's that?
I forgot. I did a whole thing and I forgot about it.
Oh no.
I had a test for you.
Oh Christ.
I know you've got probably a test for me later, but I've got a test for you.
And it's actually on something we've touched on today.
Oh no, I'm worried. But mine's a rock test.
Oh, go on. Yeah.
You saw the document, right?
Not since you updated it.
So have you seen? I intentionally like put it in a different font so you might not be able to like. So it was barely legible. It's a bit of rounding.
You've seen my glasses. Nothing's legible.
I'm gonna try and make it a thing for us, just because I find it funny. I've gone to our favorite new website, the SmackDown Hotel. I fucking love this website. It's so good. Like I don't know if they make money, so I'm like, maybe they should sponsor us. I don't know. Not a paid ad, is my point. But the SmackDown
Could
Hotel.
be if you want. This shirt is plain until you say it's not.
It's basically the fucking Wikipedia for wrestling. It's excellent. They don't just do WWE as well. They got everyone. Everything's on there. So a little test. Shouldn't take too long to go over. So you remember one of the details that the SmackDown Hotel has is face and heel turns.
Yes.
So I obviously went and I found the Rocks. And they've got these dated lengths and everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the dates.
Yep.
And you're going to tell me heel or face, because that's...
whether he's turning to that.
Oh, yeah, what alignment he was.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
So, let's start... And there's a funny one on this, but let's start at the beginning. Because it might be easier to remember, like... Maybe you could remember it in order. So, let's start. November the 4th, 1996 till August 10th, 97. So, what? Not even a year.
So, that would have been
months.
a heel run.
Incorrect. Face run.
What? 96 to 97?
Yeah, 96 to 97, he was a face.
So, I knew he was a face after WrestleMania 12. He must have had a mini heel run in there as well.
So then it obviously gets easier from here. So yeah, that's a bit too easy now. Yeah, okay.
I'm just gonna go. Oh no,
it's not. It's not. It's actually not too easy because it's up and down. So August 11th, 97. Okay, new stipulation. So obviously he turned heel. Because it's August 10th, he was face. August 11th, he turned heel.
Sure.
How long was he heel for?
Oh.
So it's August 11th, 1997.
I think that's a long one.
How long? At what point? Try and think about it, because obviously it's like, when did he turn face again?
Because you got two different Rocks in here.
This does get tricky.
Yeah, you've got... That would have been Nation Rock, but also Corporate Rock. That's my thing. I can't remember if he briefly turned face in there before we went Corporate Rock.
How long? So... I want you to guess. I want you to guess.
Yeah, I'm going to guess. I'm going to man up. I'm going to say... So August 97 to... Because I'm trying to think of places where I knew he was
You're thinking of events. You're trying to think of events
Yeah.
and maybe matches.
Because I know a year and a half later, he's a heel at WrestleMania. Against Stone Cold. I'm going to say a year and 7 months.
Okay, so August 97 until sorry. It's pretty much a year and like 2 months. So he's a heel from August 97 until October 11th, 98.
So then he's going to have a really short face run.
How short?
I think we might be looking at less than a month here.
Oh,
I'm going to say
it's a month. I was like, it's a month. It's bang on a month. So
I'll take that.
October 12th to November 14th, 98, he was a face.
That would have been such a tease.
Then playing into exactly what you're calling corporate rock change, which then he goes heel again from November 15th until when?
November 15th till... Oh... I'm going to say May 99.
More or less. It's April 24th, so end of April.
Oh, so it was like right after Mania as well, pretty much.
So turning face. So April, so it says face April 25th. Now, for how long was he face?
Oh, that's got to be a long one. That has to be a long one. Because in that first run, he doesn't turn again, I'm sure. Unless he does one again in 90.
Because obviously this is obviously covering... So he's face now. This turn of the millennium. You get another Rock Austin during all this.
Yeah, which he's a face for as well.
I'm giving you hints, but yeah. Think of like all his big matches for next like few manias and things. What position is he in?
He's a face. He's a face in 2000. He's a face for... I want to say 2003.
Correct, Stephen. January 2003.
This is what I mean, though. That run, like, you bear in mind he came in as the blue chipper green babyface, and he just couldn't get over. And then he maintains that run for 4 years. That's impressive, not having to turn. Obviously, it's no John Cena, who we booed the fuck out of anyway.
We didn't give a shit. Like, fuck you, John.
I hate you. The best thing to happen to wrestling in ages.
Okay, so... Do you remember how he turned heel in 2003?
Well, it would have been the he returns and he comes out and he asks if they want to boo him, but it's the feud with Hogan, and he starts appearing via satellite, and he's talking about I love tofu, and then everyone's just like boo, you gotta like tofu.
So obviously, do you remember how long he stayed around for then?
It would have been until about 30th of April. End of April. Backlash 2003 would have been his last appearance.
So it says December 2003. Now, I'm saying this as a hint because obviously I think that they're sort of counting it as like he was heel until he came back.
Yes.
So even if he went away, which I think you're right, would have been like April, May time. He went away, and then when did he come back?
I thought he came back in March. February? Come back in December.
Yeah, end of the year, December.
What did he... I want to know what he did in December. Because it must have been a one-off appearance.
It's interesting what they've got written here, because it says he obviously came back a face.
Mm-hmm.
December 8, 2003. Because obviously he wasn't mainstay, so they're saying that he was... I don't know, because it's weird. There's not much details. It's got dates.
No.
So it's saying until August 2004. And I think that would have been just like appearances then. Anytime he appeared over that year, essentially. So when was his next appearance?
After 2004?
Yes.
Say 2007.
Maybe, but it's not on here.
Okay.
I think it's just got heel.
If we're doing runs, his next run would have been he would have come back in February 2011.
Bang on. As a
face.
Yes.
As a face in quotation marks.
And for how long?
That would have been until this year.
That's interesting that you've said that because yes, But when? Okay, so when was his last appearance then?
That's a tricky one though.
Yeah, I know.
Because we're talking about sort of his last appearance would have been WrestleMania, so 27. Then he would have come back for Survivor Series, where he would have faced Miz and R-Truth. So I want to say October
What year?
2011. Then he
You
would
gotta keep going.
then he would have disappeared after November, come back in January,
Mm-hmm.
disappeared in April
Of
2012. This is the smarkiest thing we've ever had on this show. I feel like
we're
such
doing
a
The Rock
virgin
properly.
right now. Then he would have come back December of 2012. At which point he would have stayed semi-consistently until April. Then it would become annual. That's when you start to get, he appears for WrestleMania 30.
Those don't count. Those aren't being counted.
Because it's
So
not a
April
run.
2013. Face. So then, this is a bit of a deep one. When did he actually first appear for a run?
It would have been pre-96 because...
Oh no, as in I'm talking like this year.
Oh, this year.
So when
you
did
asking for a date or a month?
when did he come back?
Not after the Rumble, weren't it?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, because it would have been the SmackDown after the Rumble.
So it was February.
27.
February 26th. How and he was
He was a face very briefly.
how long was his face run?
2 weeks. Was it 1 week? 3 days.
5 days.
Well, it's the big show.
And I've actually written here fastest heel turn in history.
No, it's not. It's not.
What
Big-
to come back, face and turn heel in 5 days?
In fairness, that's a 20-year face run.
Nearly.
That's the
No. Sorry, no. It's a 21-year face run.
That's the slowest heel turn in history.
No,
it was a
because
slow
it's runs.
burner.
Like, so I've got it. It's all in grey for some fucking reason. I need to change the color, but it's all here. So it's like
How
face.
are you reading that?
I sort of remember it a little bit. It's like references, but yeah. So currently he is a heel. He is a heel from February 8th, 2024 to present. But is he really? I feel like he was a heel for about 2 weeks. Now he's like an entertaining tweener. Where he's only heel.
He covered
when
a belt in a man's blood.
No.
Dedicated
Let me
to
finish.
his mother.
He's only a heel in regards to Cody Rhodes. I think in any other regard, because he's not doing heel type stuff to anyone else.
It's because that's the only person
Like,
he's interacting
a real
with.
heel is just a straight up dick wherever they go. You
He
know?
called the Chicago crowd pieces of shit.
He does that. He would do that as a face. Let's be honest. He'd mock them lightly. He could.
Playful banter is different to brutalizing a man
that's what it's
and saying this one's for your mother.
All I'm saying is, but for Rock heel turns, I feel like it doesn't count fully. It's like,
Well, because it's the most entertaining he's been since 2003.
true.
Which also brings me on to, are we going to talk about that 2004 run? Do we have to?
Maybe.
I watched it. It was only 2 episodes of Raw. He returns at the end of one to, you know on SmackDown when they'd have like the washing machine pop. He had that, and then they did one of the worst segments in history, which was Mick Foley, "This Is Your Life."
I told you that one time with Foley. Hey, wasn't the Rock and Sock connection your favorite part of the Attitude Era?
It was fantastic. It was.
I loved your tone. Oh my god, that set me off. Because I feel like you were so close to like almost being like, yeah, but it was fantastic. Okay, I would never shit on the Rock and Sock connection. But come on, man. Like, come on. What the fuck were we doing?
It's like the meme where it's like, I've never done anything wrong. I know this and I love you deeply. But 2004 was awful. It was so bad. The match was fine. And I was surprised that he had charisma. He was still The Rock.
Yeah.
But no one gave a shit.
I think it was I think even... Because I don't know if I remember it. I was in this state where I was a bit disappointed by returns, especially like, I think having the early sort of phase of 2000s where Mick Foley was coming back and having interesting feuds with like, you know, Edge and Randy Orton. I really thought this Rock and Sock comeback was going to be like of that proportion.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't even close.
No.
And I was like, oh, like these two are fucking awesome. Like this could go somewhere.
Mick was doing these in between midlife crises, so he had time. The Rock was doing it in between shooting films.
Funny is that because I've written midlife crisis Rock. It was both their midlife crisis. I'm just like, we're legends, right? We're supposed to be.
You know what we could do to solidify our legacy? Let's go back and be really mid. Let's ruin everyone's perception of us now, so they think we were really good back then.
Because I suppose they're like a deep cut like tag team from like the 90s, late 90s, like Attitude Era, like.
Yeah, I do. I would call them a deep cut.
But which is funny because remember what I was saying last week about like how the Brothers of Destruction are barely a valid tag team stable.
Yeah.
The Rock and Sock Connection were way more. They had 2 different tag team title runs, I believe.
Probably about 2 weeks in total.
But they were more of a tag team than Kane and Undertaker were.
Yeah, because they actually like interacted instead of just standing around looking cool.
like the 2 weird overgrown goths at a party with no social skills.
I'm repping those boys.
They're just there in a corner looking scary as fuck. No one talks to them. And
but internally, they just want you to come over.
They really want friends. They just don't know how to talk to people.
Which is why SVR 2009 happened, where Kane's in the background having a chin wag. He's just having a convo.
Anyway.
You know, the funny thing with Rock and Sock, they did all these amazing segments together. They, as much as we say, the promos were great. And yet the thing that I still remember the most about them is, you know, in Halftime Heat, when Mick Foley beats The Rock with the forklift, and they do the slow crash shot on The Rock as he's just like, no! That's the only thing I remember about them. And it doesn't do you any favours when that's the case.
They're a weird one because, like, you know, with certain people, I don't know why, maybe I'm getting smarky, but in a certain way, it's like, if I want to look for a certain run, I'd know where to go. Like, yeah, I actually don't know where to go to find Rock and Sock Connection. Like, when even, because they happened during, like, 98, I feel like.
But at what point was The Rock face long enough for that to happen?
Exactly. So I'm like, when even was the Rock and Sock Connection is my point. Like, it's so hard because, like, considering they're like I said, deep cut but iconic, so much so they had a random run again at this point, which is literally what we're ripping on. But it was like, if it was so important, why can't I remember when they were a tag team?
That is the best way of ruining Rock and Sock. Name one show they were on.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Can you name a pay-per-view they were on together other than Mania 20?
No.
There you go.
No, of course not.
I could tell you a show that Cody, Rhodes and Hardcore Holly tagged together on.
No, that is you being smarky because no one should know that.
I wish I didn't know it.
Oh my gosh.
as much as we take the piss,
Which
they
is
were
non-stop.
They, it's great. Mick Foley's going to end up the new Mark, but that's going to be depressing more than it is anything else.
Yeah, every time I see Mick Foley, it's up there with a few people. I'm like, oh shit, you're getting old as fuck. Like,
I'll do that when I'm wearing white, for fuck's sake.
Like he's getting there, man. He's getting there. Like, you know, being thrown off things and burnt and God knows what. As much as that man has,
he keeps threatening to come back as well.
Because I think he's wants to
teasing,
die in the ring.
Yeah,
he's like, I'll do it. I'll die in front of all of you. This will be my euthanasia.
They'll give him like a blood capsule to make it look like he's bleeding. He'll just cut his tongue off.
He'll do a New Jack, but to himself.
Oh, that's cruel.
It's fucking mental.
Right, I think we've got half an hour left of this. So, did you bring the belt?
Of course I fucking brought the belt.
Of course you fucking brought the belt. Right.
So, let me tell you a little something about this belt. I told you via message, but this has brought only chaos to my home.
Oh, beautiful.
Olivia wants this belt so fucking badly. She wants it. She keeps challenging me, and I'm like, you're not even number one contender, motherfucker.
Oh, that's the cruelest thing you could say to your partner.
You're not even close. You gotta come back to her podcast, which I've tried to invite her to, by the way. I'm like, by the way, when me and Stephen try and line up dates, like I'm asking you, and she's like, oh, I don't know. I'm just like, well,
get on.
If you're not serious enough, then you will never make it, and you'll never win the belt.
She's never gonna get past the mid card, is she?
Exactly. She's like Jade Cargill right now, just barely ever turning up.
I will say, ever since you told me this, I've told Eileen about this like twice. Just like I've brought such chemistry to their household. That belt was doing wonders for their relationship. But you're both swinging at each other.
We just
got for the attitude adjustment.
We weirdly practice a lot of submissions, a lot of leg locks on each other.
That's kind of kinky. I like that.
Like I think I was never good at doing a figure four. As a kid, I've got it nailed now. I can do a figure four leg lock. I keep doing it. We do it on the sofa. I'm just there like, I do the Ric Flair as well. I like throw my head back and I'm like, ah. Love it.
She's going to come on and we're going to talk about Ric Flair. She's just going to have 1,000 yards there. Trauma built into it.
Oh man, we've done like, you know, the classic belt to the face, like ref bump. Like she's really good at taking the bump as well.
Damn it. I admire it. I really do.
I'm gonna work her up to let me power bomb her. It's close.
Couples who take bumps together
stay together. Right, let me.
Right. This is the moment.
You're not gonna wear this, right?
Yeah, of course. It's important to.
I think I realised. I think in the last episode, I thought it didn't fit. I just wasn't wearing it high enough. It fits.
It doesn't fit me. I'm just fat. It's all right.
It's above my belly button. That's where I've got to go. It's basically on my ribs. My belly's way too big for that.
Look at this. See, we are like 2 more title wins away from you doing the Shawn Michaels photo shoot for Playboy. We're wearing nothing. You're going full Becky Lynch, Seth Rollins.
You have no idea, Stephen. Olivia knows things.
Do I want to touch this belt after winning?
No, it's just all I would say is it literally happened last night. I came home drunk a little bit and I was telling Olivia, I need some of the belt for tomorrow. And I got the belt. Obviously I was very tired and I was in my robe. And I was like, I'm gonna put the belt.
That's cool.
I'm not naked.
Just smearing it on your balls.
My cat's in the picture as well. It's me and my cat.
You
laying on the sofa. I'm just in my underwear wearing the belt with my cat.
No, that's realistic. I'll allow that. Do you want to hazard a guess about who today's fact or Fabe is about?
I don't know. When he takes his belt off, I can't sit comfortably.
I'd love to see you walk around this building going to the toilet wearing that.
I will do that. You wait. I got a very generous paycheck. Like, I'm this close. Depending on what's on sale at this show, like, this might get an upgrade.
I'd rather you than me, because as we've made very clear, I wouldn't be welcome home if I bought it.
I'd laugh if I get you kicked out of your house because you won it.
Bought it,
No, Zach won it. I won it on the podcast. He's like, bullshit, boy.
He just takes the belt and starts beating me with
Such
it.
a fucking muck. Anyway,
do you want to guess who it's about? We've mentioned him today very briefly.
Oh, briefly?
Yeah, very
I was
briefly.
like, is it The Rock? No.
No. We can't do two.
Hardcore Holly?
There's not enough facts about Hardcore Holly.
He's a dick.
He's a cunt.
He's just a massive dick.
He has no charisma. He carried the scales to the ring with him. As a tease, this is actually... It's going to make the title of this segment quite controversial, because there's no truth in this week's episode at all.
Oh, God. So is it Dom Mysterio?
No.
I know, but I'm worrying because I sort of need to pee. How long we got? We've still got enough time. I'm going to run to the toilet.
Go on.
Because
I need to go to the toilet as
I
well.
have
So
no capacity.
go on. Sorry, I'm just going to wait till he leaves the room. So, this week's is going to be about Hulk Hogan. I have taken a lot of pride in scouring the internet for some of his biggest lies. And it turns out that they're kind of hard to one up. So, for the most part, I've actually just gone ahead and I think about 7 of these answers are actually lies that he's told. But the story of the show is going to be, is it a lie that Hogan actually told, or is it something that I've made up? I'm hoping it's tricky for him, and I'm hoping that the ring psychology has worked to some extent. So we'll find out. But this just feels like I'm doing a confessional right now. This feels like my suicide tape. That whole cup is one of the greatest moments in pro wrestling history. I just told the audience, this feels like a fucking suicide confessional right now.
God, what that was the greatest wrestling moment. So, apparently, follow that with suicide. I'm like, excuse me.
Right, I'm gonna return the favour. I'm gonna go piss now. You have to stay.
God, this is gonna be a madness. So, I'm hoping I'm about to win this because I'll tell you what. If I win this round and get to keep the belt, I will send the picture and add it to the edit. At the end of the episode, you will see the picture I was talking about, my drunken photo laying with this. I have no shame, so I can't physically be embarrassed by it. It was just entertainment to me, and I think it might drive some views, hopefully. I don't know, maybe go viral. If I lose, I will force Olivia to come into the next episode to try and also win the belt, just so it's back in my household. We'll see.
I just found out that West Ham bottled a 3-1 lead and lost 4-1, so I'm out for blood right now.
You fucking West Ham fan.
I fucking hate my life.
Go back to Man U, you idiot.
I was going to say, I can't go back to being a plastic, but West Ham have won a trophy more recently than Man United. So now I'm the plastic for supporting West Ham, my local team.
You're an Open Glory supporter. What happened, Stephen?
It's better to not be in the
Is this why you're supporting Cody Rhodes?
Wow! I'm forever blowing Cody. Right. So as I've told the viewers, this week's episode, or this week's segment, is going to be about the greatest liar in professional wrestling.
Oh, Eddie.
No, that was kayfabe lying.
Hulk Hogan. Oh, you mean the real greatest liar.
The real greatest liar.
Oh, this will be funny. Okay.
There are 200 million people in the arena, brother.
I love him.
He has no self-awareness. It's great.
Maybe he's got CTE and we're actually making fun of a man with serious cognitive issues.
He definitely has cognitive issues, but I don't think that has anything to do with CTE.
Maybe he believes arenas do hold 200 million people. Maybe he fully believes that it is possible to get extra hours in a extra days in a year by traveling
so
around
you've done
the
your
world.
research. Oh, I like this. This is going to be good.
I've seen Joe Rogan clips. I don't watch Joe Rogan.
I
don't watch Joe Rogan.
So, this week's episode is going to be, did Hogan really lie about this? Or did I make it up?
Oh, fuck. Oh, God. Like, that could be anything.
It could be anything. It's great. As I say, I'm going for blood. I want to have the weird photo shoot with the belt.
He wants the belt. I've also offered something if I win or lose, but you're going to find out afterwards. It's not that crazy. It's fine. I'll tell you after the quiz.
Did I consent to this?
Yeah, you're on the podcast. You've been doing this podcast for this amount of time. You consent to
fine.
everything. All my shenanigans.
As long as I consented, I suppose. Right, number 1. Hogan scouted Goldberg in the 90s after seeing him play football.
Fuck. See, this is...
Bear in mind, none of these on the list happened.
Like,
but did Hogan say they happened?
Yeah, like, that's the problem. Like, you could be playing... I don't know if you're playing... Could be playing to, like, how much I actually know about people. Like, for example, I know Goldberg was a football player before wrestling.
Was he?
I'm pretty sure he was. He was a beast. He was like...
In fairness, most people of his size in wrestling were failed footballers.
No, I'm pretty sure, yeah, he's a football player who got
Roman
injured
Reigns?
or some shit. But did Hogan claim that he scouted him? I'm going to say no. Hogan did not say this.
You are correct. That is Fabe.
Okay. Do you know why? Because I know there's a whole thing between, like, a weird separation between Goldberg and all of those lot, like, when his whole streak thing started. And I know that they... Essentially, Hogan and that lot wanted not to do with Goldberg because obviously they wanted to keep Goldberg undefeated, so they did not want to wrestle
they
him.
stayed far away.
They're like, I'm not fucking losing. I'm not putting him over, so just keep him away from us.
Who knew Hogan and the rest of the NWO were so selfish?
Fucking assholes.
Number 2. He was lined up for Macho Man's role as Bonesaw in Spider-Man, but thought Savage could use the attention.
Yeah, I feel like he said that.
Fabe.
You made that up?
Yeah.
You bastard!
I'm in his head. I'm in his head, brother. I should just do the rest of this in the Hogan voice and get you on.
Only because the accent, I was like, yeah, he probably arrogant fuck.
The thing is, I was playing chess with myself for this one. I was like, Bonesaw came out. No, Bonesaw the movie. It's like the Iron Claw, but better.
Have you seen the Iron Claw yet?
No, I really want to, though.
Same.
I was gonna go see it when it was in cinemas, but then by the time I got Eileen to come and see it with me, because I subject them to all of my wrestling problems, it was gone from everywhere.
See, mine Olivia. Olivia was the one who keeps suggesting it to me, and then we just kept missing it. Like
Another double date. Just so everyone knows, we're going for a double date to watch a local wrestling cage match. And
I feel like you really underplayed that. We're watching a fucking cage match.
Fucking cage match!
There's not even a cage match at Wrestle fucking Mania, so I think we're winning.
No, it's all singles matches at WrestleMania.
Oh, you see my point of view now.
Oh,
Admit it.
Gary wants a scrap with you for that. He's not happy about that.
What? That I'm shitting on the amount of singles matches?
He thinks it's quite varied.
How?
Ask him. When
The only thing that's happening is a fucking ladder match, and we all know how it ends. They're going to split the tag titles finally. Well done. Hopefully it'll be a good match, but have you seen who's fucking in it?
New Catch Republic ain't winning. It's okay. Even if they are great.
They're kind of great.
As wrestlers, they're great. As a team, they suck.
They're a bit boring.
They are so boring. It's not their fault.
Who cares about DIY? No one.
The 2018 IWC Squared Circle in 2018.
Oh wait, sorry. I will take it back. There is another tag match now.
Oh, what? The really awful damage control one?
No. Is that?
Oh yeah, that got confirmed last night. They're doing a six woman. Jade, the Black Girls.
Oh, so we can have Jade betray them and then have Jade versus Bianca.
Oh no! Don't do that.
I predicted all of this last night. Sorry, I've stopped you on this, but I will just say this. I was watching SmackDown last night. I finished my gig and I looked at the time and I was in the Uber with Olivia and I was like, we can watch the rest of SmackDown. It's only 20 past midnight. Because SmackDown started playing at midnight, by the way.
Yeah, thank you, Daylight Savings.
So, yeah, and what was weird was I guessed before the match happened, I was like, hopefully we find a way to get Jade involved in this because I don't know why the fuck we're holding back Jade. It probably won't happen. Bailey's probably going to come out. It also happened, I was like, here comes Bailey. And then Jade came out. And I was like, holy shit. Like, I was sort of joking about Jade coming out. And I was like, okay, so now we can do the Jade betraying them and we can have Jade versus
treatment as well.
So we can have her betray Bianca and have her versus Bianca at Backlash.
Oh, don't do that at Backlash. That's a good match. If she learns how to wrestle in the next year.
What do you mean learns? She's not terrible.
Are we talking about Bianca or Jade? I know
Jade.
your feelings of Bianca. Jade ain't terrible. It's just a smarky opinion, and I'm aware of this. It's okay.
They go Maxi
I
Dupree
like
hate
Jade.
on me.
I think Jade, her potential is way up in the stars.
And also, on a side note, I was drunk last night and making some wild hot takes, but I will say this. My other thing I was right about...
Bailey's ass isn't real!
My other thing I was right about was we're finally getting the race war that I've been trying to predict for the longest time. Yeah. It's the blacks versus the Asians!
Race war!
Race war! Race war! We've got 3 fire black women versus 3 fire Asian chicks. Let's go! Let's fucking go!
One of them's from Australia. Australia.
Dakota, because EO's not actually in the match. If it was EO instead of Dakota, it'd be 3 Asians.
Yeah. I do like...
Damage Control are basically an Asian stable, though.
I'm starting to come up with a headcanon right now that in the aftermath of Oppenheimer coming out, the Japanese are like, we need to sort these fucking Yanks out.
Right, back to your quiz.
Right.
So it's what, 1-1?
It's 1-1. Number 3 is the George Foreman grill was originally the Hulk Hogan grill.
So I feel like a few people have made a claim to this. Yeah, Hogan said it.
Hogan did say it.
Yeah, Hogan said it.
I didn't realise you were so up to date with your Hogan lies.
No, I'm not. As in, like, it's a funny thing. Again, I'm going to tangent, but this will be a short one. He's up there, the list of people that keep getting called out for being bullshitters, like sportsmen. Yeah. It's him, LeBron James, for some reason, in a similar fashion. People keep clowning him for claiming he was like part of things or was there for things that he couldn't have possibly been there for, or he's just straight up lying for PR's sake. Like, fuck knows what's going on.
That's mental for LeBron James, though, because his sport's real. He actually did things.
No, there's things like he claimed he heard an album before, like, and like people then like claimed it was like, no, there's no way you heard the album before release, LeBron. Like, you weren't even like about to meet this person. To like, you're chatting shit and like, yeah, he said some dumb things that people have like fact checked and be like, no, LeBron.
Why do they do it though? They had such amazing careers. Why do you bother?
You're legends. Why are you chatting shit? It's funny. It is funny. But anyway,
I think the fact that it's sad makes it funny. We've got number 4 here, and that's that he came up with a riff for Real American, and then he gave it to Rick Derringer.
No, surely you didn't claim that he wrote the guitar riff.
Oh, he did start in a band.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. But surely not.
You are correct.
Okay, thank fuck.
It's fake.
He's not claiming he wrote his own theme song.
Have you never seen the music video where he's playing the guitar but just doing that?
My favorite Hollywood guitar. And the riff's this, bap bap bap, and they're like, bap, 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 bap. And they're playing all down here as well, like.
His fingers are on fire.
When it's definitely just like chords, and it's like.
The whole song he's in Star Power from Guitar Hero. I will say, one of the best wrestling theme songs ever. I'm not an American. I'm not a racist. I love that song.
I think It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia has given it a second life for me. Yeah. I can't lie, because they've just put a twist on it. Like, you know, because they've used it a few times after that. Oh. And they've used it like in the most amazing and ironic, like them being just complete typical American assholes and then playing that theme, and it's like, yes, this is fucking great. They've taken it back in the most like toxic way. Like, it's hilarious.
Reclamation. They're taking the power back.
It's like, I am a real man. And it'd just be like, just a bunch of like fat people, like, you know, it'd be like footage of like a Black Friday, like, raid, like people just flooding in, like destroying a shop, and it's like that playing at the same time.
Did they do it for the Philly riots after the Super Bowl?
Literally, shit like that.
You're burning your own shop to the ground. Fight for your rights!
See, that's why the song is even better. Like, it's been given a great second life.
Thank you, Hogan. Thank you, Rick Derringer. We got number 5. He once wrestled 400 days in 1 year.
Yeah, no, I know that one. I know that one. And I've seen the clip because you see Joe Rogan's face. Like, bro, like, flying couldn't possibly add a whole month to a year.
If I could turn back time.
He's like, you know, because of flight times and like daylight savings and shit. And it's like, bro, like that's.
I body slammed the Atlantic, brother.
He's like, because like by his logic, if when you're flying from America to Japan, you add an extra 12 hours to the day, so you're doing a 36-hour day, and he did that so many times that he added a whole month to the year.
He changed the rotation of Earth, so it just went a little bit slower, and there was 2 more hours added.
But like by his logic, someone's actually challenged him on. He's like, no, but if you think about it, by the hours that I was awake,
no, you just wrestled twice in a day.
I was like, bro, you're just saying that you stayed awake for a long time. It didn't mean you lived 36-hour days.
Why not just say that though? It's impressive. You wrestled 400 times in like what? Just say it. It's okay. You don't have just because.
Also, not a big deal, by the way. I'm just gonna throw this out there. Like back in the early days of the NBA, teams would play 2 teams in a night.
No need for that, is there?
Imagine that. Like, you'd never have that today. Like, a football team would play, like, one arena and then go across London and play another 90-minute game against another team.
Christ, I wouldn't want West Ham to do that.
Because the scheduling's that fucked, you know,
Right, we got number 6. Andre the Giant weighed in 700 pounds when Hogan slammed him at Mania. Fat bastard.
Because he's been drinking beer all night. You know, you must have heard stories about him pounding like 100 beers in a night. Well, before our match at WrestleMania, he pounded like 250, which added about a whole 200 pounds to his weight. And I still body slammed him. So I body slammed a 700-pound man. That is Hogan logic. Like,
that is Hogan logic. That is Hogan logic.
Which makes it so difficult to answer because I don't know if you understand Logan fucking Hogan logic that well.
No, Logan's way too grounded for this.
I will say Logan is very, very grounded. Have you been watching his podcast?
No.
It's annoying.
I went into the suicide forest, brother.
It's annoyingly good. His one with Rhea has been. I watched half of it the other day. Really fun. Really interesting. I love Rhea.
It's been easier for me to like Logan ever since I looked at Jake Paul. He's the good one.
He's the fucking annoying one that's like desperately prying for attention in annoying ways.
During the George Floyd riots, he was there helping people like board up shops and help out. Jake Paul was fucking looting. You know, that's the difference between the two. That's why I have no problem with him.
The juvenile one.
Yeah. I have no problem with Logan being in the business.
Logan's genuinely become a businessman. He is a businessman, and he's like, he has so much respect, and like that's why I like watching his podcast, especially because he's just interviewing wrestlers at the moment. And you just see like he has the utmost respect for wrestling and wrestlers and their legacy, and it's so funny because like he's actually so humble as well. He's so humble. Like you see him like joking about like things that he needs to take on board and things like, you know, his one with John Cena, like it's great. It's actually so great. Back to why Hogan's a fucking lunatic.
Where do we start? I
want to say he didn't say he body slammed 700 pounds.
He did.
Fuck!
I held back here because he actually said that he tore every muscle in his back when he did it.
You fucking dick. Wait, what was that? That was number 6.
That was number 6.
It's 4-2.
It's 4-2. It's getting
I need 2 more to keep my belt.
Within
give you all
5
those-
minutes, we're going to have a very kind lady knock on this door. So we need to get this done. Number 7. Elvis Presley was a huge fan of Hogan, even though he died before his debut.
This is up there with LeBron level shit.
This is
something dumb that Hogan and LeBron have said, like up there. I want to say yes. He said this.
You think he said that?
I think he said it.
He did say it.
Yes!
He did say it.
Fucking idiot, bro.
He's fucking stupid.
He's so fucking dumb. He's like, I think, the problem is, he's a wrestler. He's a wrestler from a bygone era. And I think he thinks that people are still as stupid as they were when he was at his peak. And people, not just stupid, but he thinks people would believe things without fact checking, like they used to in the late 80s and early 90s. Like people won't fact check things that Hulk Hogan's saying. It's like, bro, it's 2023 or something. Probably 2023 when he said this, but it's like, bro, like
it was probably like 1990 when he said this.
Some people who have like got the internet where they're seeing you say this and they can just open a tab and just check. Fucking dumbass.
He's a dumbass, but it makes me love him more.
He's
so desperate.
It's given Hogan second life because he hasn't. When was the last time this man wrestled?
Too recently.
Yeah,
Probably like 2012.
In like fucking TNA.
In the Yappa Pie strap match with Ric Flair. The Yappa Pie.
Trying to relive his NWO days. I'm one of the biggest names, brother. I can run this company.
I body slam you, but I tear every muscle in your back.
I've only had 5 spinal fusions.
On a similar note, he outdrank John Belushi in 1986 after his death.
After his death. Well, that's technically true. He's out drinking him to this day.
He said that he outdrank him in one night after he died. He was already dead when he claimed he'd done this.
No, he didn't say this.
He did. He fucking did.
Sake. Okay, what? That's 5-3?
That is 5-3.
Oh, fuck, I need this.
Oh, it's getting tight.
I need this belt.
Number 9. He had a match with Antonio Inoki where he beat him up so bad he died and he was brought back to life with CPR. I murdered a man in cold blood, brother. How do you drop a leg on someone and kill them?
Oh, shit.
The strap!
Sorry, it's invincible.
It costs £20. It's not invincible.
£20 is a lot. The replicas are like 20 times that much. Right. Oh, you know, I'm trying to like ignore the way you said it. And trying to remember the bullshit tone he takes when he's like trying to be factual. I'm trying to the Joe Rogan
say
face.
It for the people.
It's like, I once had a match. Could you believe?
Oh, I wouldn't believe. No, funnily enough, Hulk.
Beat him so bad. To be resuscitated in the ring. Then we went five more minutes. I finished him with a leg drop. 5-star match.
I dropped a leg on his heart, brother.
I brought him back. I told him, we ain't done yet, brother. And
I put my hands on his chest to cover him. I went, 1, 2, 3. And his heart started beating again.
He kicked out before the 3. That's why I knew we had to fight him. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say he said this.
You fucker, you've won. You've won. It was true.
Well, all of them true. Did he say all of these things?
No. Only specific ones. I want to see how close we can get here. Number 10, he wrote a song about wrestling in honour of a dead child. Neither the match nor the child existed.
Wait, say it again.
He wrote a song, or he sang a song at the very least, about wrestling in honor of a dead child. Neither the match nor the child existed.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, he did it.
You're damn right he did it.
Fuck's sake.
And he released it on an album.
Oh, Terry.
Terry Bollea.
Terry, you fucking nutter. I don't know how many bumps you've taken, bro, but it's too many.
The story of this. On the album, he sings about, like, he went out, he did a Make-A-Wish for a kid. And he was like, I'm going to wrestle for you, brother. Shakes the little kid's hand. He goes out to the ring and he looks for the seat where the kid's supposed to be. And the kid's not there because he's died. But the problem is, he says that this happened when I wrestled at Wembley. He's never wrestled at Wembley.
He never wrestled at Wembley. Oh no.
Can you imagine them trying to come up with the song? What if we make up a kid?
It's almost like he should be in the gang for It's Always Sunny. Like...
if Danny DeVito dies, just get Hogan in.
Well, no, it's like since I don't know his real name, but Rowdy Roddy Piper died. Like he should be the new maniac. Like, he should just be the lunatic.
Lunatic.
He should play himself solidly. Just meets the gang and just tells them bullshit stories.
Just film him on set, and then just drop the scenes in. Did you know Lita was supposed to have a live sex celebration with me? She was begging for it. She was gagging for it, brother.
He was on the roster at that time, wasn't he?
He was.
That's. I feel like we've gone from The Rock to Hogan, obviously because of the quiz, but that's something I do forget. I forget about the deep Hulk Hogan run that I fully witnessed the entirety of.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. I know. It's fucking crazy. It was between that and fucking JBL. Like these were planting the seeds for me to stop.
Yeah.
Like, they removed Kane's mask. Hulk Hogan came back. Put on a mask, got the WWE Championship again.
Oh.
Then loses to fucking JBL of all fucking people.
No, Hogan didn't lose to JBL.
Who lose to?
He lost to
Brock.
Undertaker.
Oh, he lost to Taker.
Brock beat him by bear hugging him, which is fucking great.
He didn't want to wrestle Brock. I remember that.
No, that's Stone Cold.
No,
they wrestled on SmackDown.
No, as in like he didn't want to actually put Brock over, but he was told to, I believe. So I believe there was a whole issue amongst a lot of people with Brock. Like, it was so evident from these stories that like Vince was hyped, and I think rightfully so to a lot of wrestlers. Like, Vince had brought in a lot of muscle-bound, lunatic-looking beasts. It's like, the next big thing, you gotta put him over, and like a lot of people.
Matt Morgan's such good shit, brother.
A lot of people had been stung putting over someone who then had just amounted to nothing.
Yeah.
So I think by the time it got to Brock, I think people were a bit reluctant. It was like, no, Vince, like, no, I'm putting my foot down. No, like, this is just another muscle-bound freak.
Yeah, he in a few years' time, you'll have Heidenreich. He'll be the same thing, you know.
And it was just lucky that he did hit gold with Brock. But like we said, there was many, like Chris Masters, Heidenreich.
Well, all these were after Brock, in fairness, but the vibe is the same.
But there were people before this.
Yes.
That's what I mean. And that's what I mean. Like,
unfortunately,
he had been looking for a muscle-bound freak, and then I keep making this comparison, but I don't think anyone's getting it. There was a movie called Little Giants. It's like American football movie, and like it's about
yeah, I've seen it.
It's about these underdogs, and they fucking put a football team together, and they try to recruit this like army like this there's like army guy's son who's like this fucking freak muscle bound kid for his age, and like when I first saw Brock Lesnar, he reminded me of this guy. Like, you're introduced to him, and he's just like, he's supposed to be like 12, and he like lifts a fucking like fridge off a truck, and everyone's like, and like he like tackles some kid and basically nearly kills him. It's like, that was Brock Lesnar.
Why are you letting him play?
Like, he shouldn't be playing with these people.
Giving a bear hug to a 55-year-old man.
Like,
also, are you aware of the fact that The Rock is now older than Hulk Hogan was in that WrestleMania 18 match.
Steroids are a hell of a thing.
They are a hell of a thing.
They don't do good to your long-time health. Like,
they are the worst part of Be Yourself. Because the reason he wasn't getting any films back in 2004 is because he tried to lose the weight. And then if I just get really beefy by using steroids, people will love me. Be Yourself does not work. Be someone else, kids.
be someone else. Be The Rock if you can. Like,
oh, fuck yeah, be The Rock.
Let's be honest, that's largely maybe potential growth hormones and whatever,
Sure.
But genetics will always win. Genetics.
Genetic freak.
He's genetically built. Like, I've got this ongoing joke. I was like, I'm worried The Rock's gonna be like some mutant. Like, as he gets older, he's just gonna keep like evolving into this giant muscle to the point it will become like unmanageable. Like, he'll become slowed and like unable to move, but not because like his muscles are breaking. No, they're just too big for him.
He walks with his arms like a gorilla.
He's gonna start looking like a tank from fucking Left 4 Dead. Like, he's just skewed, like him and Brock Lesnar fused or something. And it's just like, like interviews with The Rock. He's gonna be 80, and it's just be like the interview steps in his room with this giant muscle with a head, and it's like, Dwayne. He can still do the people's eyebrow though. He never lost that.
And then 1999 Shirt Rock comes out and goes, Boomer!
I'm gonna highlight one last thing before we potentially get kicked out. Amongst this whole document, there's one thing we did forget, but maybe we can get onto that in the next episode.
It's the forgotten feuds, isn't it?
My other favourite is the thing I'll never let go for the rest of our time, especially this season, which is your worst take.
What? WWE has learned from their mistakes. This whole feud is them learning from their mistakes.
Is it though?
Yes.
What's going on with Seth, man?
What is going on with Seth?
Yeah, exactly.
He's not the worst part of this feud. Roman's the worst part of this feud.
I don't think he is. Because honestly,
did you see his promo? Like, not SmackDown last night, the week before. He was terrible.
He doesn't need to cut a solid promo anymore.
Because he can't. But he was terrible.
He's quite good. I feel like he's doing this, like, you know, let's be honest. I feel like we all know he's going to lose now.
He has to.
It's time for him to lose. So, he's doing his best to sort of hold on to the character, even though, you know, he knows, like... This,
by no-showing.
This has to be the final phase because there's nowhere else for this to go anymore. Like, you know, The Rock's not ending it. There's literally... If Cody doesn't end it, I admit, there is no one else. But it's going to fall into Gunther territory where it's like, you've literally run through the entire roster.
Yeah.
If you... Shamefully, if it's someone that's already beaten you, it's a bit boring. Like, it's someone you've already beaten, sorry.
Unless
which
which
is why I'm annoyed by the Cody thing. It's like, he's being beaten by someone he's already beaten. Yes, by shenanigans, but it's like, at least if Sammy beats Gunther, it's someone who he hasn't beat.
You're not wrong. But I think sometimes when you have someone who's lost before, but you can see that sort of gleaming, I know I can do this. That's when
it plays back into my issue before. I was like, I would have loved this story if for the entire last year, Cody hadn't had nothing to do with
I will
Roman.
also say
they were nowhere near each other. Literally, like, the closest they got was the Raw after WrestleMania. He asked for a rematch, gets F5 by Brock, and then just goes on a fucking whole tangent until the Rumble.
Yeah, he was nowhere near the title picture. He was fighting Dom.
It made no sense. It actually did make more sense for him to go for Seth because he'd been closer to Seth this whole time.
But it's a matter of pride, isn't it? You don't want to beat the guy you've beaten 3 times.
Yeah, you go for the one that the crowd have been telling you to go for this whole time. That feeds into your story.
But it mattered to him. He has to beat Roman because he knows he could have beaten him last year.
All I'm saying is, at this point, when he finally does beat Roman, I feel like it might ruin his title run. Because now, like, he wins, right? Who now we now need to build someone up to be a contender, which is why my whole issue with the Uwu, right? Well, they've gone too crazy with the Uwu. You've created the Uwu, and someone held as soon as it was created, someone held it for like infinity. Now the next person to hold it isn't going to hold it for that much time. I mean, they're already going to pale in comparison to the last person who held it, and you've got to now find a compelling person to beat the person who beat the guy who held it for forever. That's a difficult task.
I mean, I'm already seeing Cody as a 6-month title reign.
Yeah, it almost
he might lose it to Gunther.
He has to be a multiple time winner to make up for it because at this point. But then what the story? He completes the story and it finishes and then holds the title for 6 months. That's terrible. Like this is what I mean.
No,
they've literally cornered themselves with this.
You go on to the inevitable. No, the story doesn't end here. It's about the journey with the title.
This is why the story is bullshit.
It's not. It's cute. It's lovable. We love the story.
I fucking hate the story.
I love this story because I love Cody. I just think he just seems like a nice guy.
It breaks kayfabe. I'm sorry. It ruins kayfabe to me because for me, the analysis in me makes me want to analyze the story, and I'm like, it's not that compelling. I'm sorry, and the way that it's going to be complete isn't that compelling to me. It's just, it's not been executed well enough, and if anything. My problem with it is like if you're gonna do this, do it well, and that, like feeding into what I just said, like his post run isn't going to be something that's story worthy to me. He's gonna lose to someone that isn't gonna make his story worthy. Like he needs someone that like if anything, it would actually make sense for The Rock to be the one who beats him.
Do you remember?
So he can beat like I said earlier about weeks ago about. We haven't had someone rubber band win their title back in like forever.
No, and I do think that's quite fun. I think that's engaging.
I feel like this would be a great time to do that. Have him win it, lose it, win it back.
I mean, the first thing I'm going to say is, do you remember who Stone Cold's first title defense was after he won it against Shawn Michaels?
I don't know.
There you go. Sometimes it's not like that. Sometimes it's just about the weekly television and just building up the legacy.
Well, no, but you could equally... Oh, no, I'm not going to ask you because you're smarky as fuck. I'm like, who was Roman's?
Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. So I think it plays at that place. But that's more just like the history lesson. Someone knows the answer to that question. Yes. I'm not smarky enough to know the answer to that question.
I will also say, though, I wouldn't be shocked if The Rock was added to the title match on night 2.
Nah, that would ruin it.
Bloodline rules.
That would ruin it. If anything, what I would prefer if CM Punk was added to the Drew McIntyre one.
Oh, Christ, no.
What do you mean, Christ, no? The man hasn't done anything since he's been back. He came back.
He's made of glass.
He came back, did the Rumble, didn't win. And he's been great. He's actually been great. And if anything, like, he's had his surgery. I feel like they're teasing it. And we're this close to them confirming that he's been added. And
why would you add him?
To save the Seth story, because the Seth Drew thing, someone pointed this out. I think it was actually Rhea and Logan pointed this out. Drew is carrying this fucking story.
Fuck yeah, he is, and that's why.
It's not even the on-screen shenanigans. It's him on social media.
I would even go so far as to say, just to make Drew look strong, you put that as the opening match of night 1.
But the only reason I want to add CM is just.
CM, they're on a first name basis.
just to make it more interesting and have him, like, have an interesting element. I feel like there's always like room to do something fun and interesting with like who gets pinned, especially with a triple threat like this. Like, have him pin CM Punk. Considering,
I like that.
Considering this entire time he's been trashing CM Punk more than he's been trashing Seth. Add CM Punk, have him pin CM Punk, and then we've got a whole story of this trio now. Like CM Punk cost Seth his title to Drew, and it's like Seth has already pointed out he hates CM Punk. So how interesting? Yeah. How interesting of it? Like it's like this love triangle, but it's like a hate triangle instead. You create this hate triangle of like Drew hates them both because they both are getting opportunities. Like he just doesn't like them. Seth hates Punk. Punk wants the title. Drew wants you've got this interesting hate triangle going on.
You've won me over. You've won me over big time on that, actually.
Add us to creative for fuck's sake.
No, add him to creative. Just add him. I
need you to back me up because you've got like deeper knowledge than I do. So like,
Yeah.
maybe if I like,
I'll be the fact checker.
if I miss like a step or like a potential story angle, you be like, there's this as well.
And then we course correct, and then we take it from there.
We'll split the salary. We don't care.
Yeah, I'll take that.
We'll split the salary for free tickets for life. It's cool.
We'll be the guy in the green shirt who's always in the front row. Right. I think we've absolutely killed it here. I think I'm going to go piss.
I need to piss.
I can't believe that our friend has let us go on this long after it, unless no one has a booking.
Maybe. I think actually the whole day was free for this room. I swear.
We'll try and sneak in a second episode. I'm going to go piss.
Let's just say goodbye.
Thank you for listening.
Please edit this well, Ishan. Or me.
We'll see it. I guarantee if you do this one, it will come out before that second one.
So I feel like I didn't parade this. I'm still the champ.
Cunt.
Which means the picture is coming. You're wondering, what does that mean? Yeah, I said if I keep the belt, I'll add the pictures at the end of the episode. So coming here will be the picture of me semi-naked with the title. Good night, everyone.
I hate this podcast.